So Larry, down here at this existing furnace, it's going to be replaced. From a visual aspect, when I'm replacing my existing furnace, what can I expect to see?
Typically now it's going to be even a smaller furnace, so there would be a transition from the plenum down to where the new furnace sits. And you would see any updates to vent piping needs or transitions yet from the ductwork back into the furnace.
Sure, and you mentioned the vent piping, because let's say I have an older furnace, weren't those metal vented, say 20, 30 years ago?
Yeah, 20, 30 years ago, even today, there's still some metal vented furnaces out there. In that case, they would have to upgrade the venting away from the metal that went out through a chimney to PVC that is now typically going to exit the house through the sidewall.
Does a homeowner have any say where you're exiting the PVC piping?
To a degree they do, in that we don't want it exiting the front of the home or underneath a window. We do still have some requirements to be set back away from gas meters and things like that by code that we will still follow.
So it seems to me it comes back to that meeting with the contractor, making sure you're there and discussing all the different options you have, whether it's the components or whether it's the placement of the components or venting.
Exactly. In the case of replacing an air conditioner, they're going to have to do some things indoors. What we can see here is actually a humidifier, which is used in the wintertime, but behind this is the evaporator coil and then the line set that goes to the outdoor unit. We will have to upgrade this in order to put in a new system.
And when you say you need to upgrade it, do you mean you need to replace all the components that we're looking at?
Exactly. We need to replace typically the line set today as well as the evaporator coil that sits inside the ductwork.
And the line set goes from here to the outside to the condenser. Why would you ever need to replace that?
Depending on the age of the system, we actually recommend updating the line set as well as a new evaporator coil so it's a match set with the new refrigerant that we use in today's condensing units.
Sure, and of course, if you don't have a central air conditioning system and you're just adding one new, you're going to see all this piping going in because you're going to have to add that to the system.
Yep, exactly, and that's an important point to make to the homeowner is we have to add this so it has to be accessible in order to be able to do the installation. The other key point is to be able to meet with the homeowner and discuss with them what is going to have to sit outside and where it's going to sit around the building.
So does the homeowner have some say into where that condenser or the outside portion of an air conditioning system sits?
Yeah, they have some pretty good say in it as long as we can make it accessible in order to be able to route the piping as well as the electrical that has to be brought into the outdoor unit.
So again, another good example of why you want to meet with your contractor, be there when they're giving your estimates so that you can address your concerns. Maybe visually, you don't want to be looking at it. Maybe you can have some say and find a good location for it.
Exactly.
Okay, we touched on that this was a humidifier. That's a great example of an add-on, very important in the winter, I know. What about other add-ons? Is this a good time to be talking to your contractor? I mean, since he's on site?
Yeah, it makes the most sense to do it while they're there rather than having them to have to come back and do a second trip. They could find out right away, is the humidifier operable? If not, now would be the right time to put a new one in. Or in the case here where they have filtration, we have good filters, expandable media already here. There is the base 2-inch disposable or 1-inch disposable that a lot of people see. That would be your entry. This would be an upgrade to mid-tier, and then a further enhancement now is an electronic that actually has capture and kill technology, which means the airborne particles that the homeowners are irritated by are going to be trapped on the filter and they're actually going to be killed to where they're inert when we go ahead and change those filters out.
Boy, it seems to me you're developing a system around the lifestyle. If I either have asthma or kids with allergies, I mean, now's the time to really have a huge impact on my indoor air quality. And you think how much time we spend in our homes. Now's the time to be communicating with your contractor?
Yeah, that's right, Stu. That's why it's very important to get all of the things out on the table with the contractor right away, and then they can have all of the proper things installed right at the start.